Jani, and I will be your host for today. I am a psychologist here at Mindtribe, and I've completed my master's in psychology. And I've dealt with clients with concerns like stress, overthinking, anxiety, depression, relationship issues, academic issues, and family issues, etc. And the purpose of the workshop today here is to help you understand brain fog in more detail and help you with strategies that can help you manage your brain fog more effectively. So, we'll begin in a short while. Right. So, thank you once again for joining in. We also have a co host here with us, Shivangi Tanwar, and she'll be handling the chat box today. Shivangi, could you introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another workshop by Mind Tribe. I'm Shivangi, and I'm also working as a psychologist here. And Harshita will also be sharing a few rules, so see them really well and follow them for a smooth workshop and have a great experience. Over to you.
All right. So, I'll just go over the rules briefly. So the first one is please do not unmute yourself mid presentation unless asked. Please be careful to keep your audio and video off for a smooth presentation. Put all your queries in the chat box. It will be looked after actively by Shivangi. She'll be answering your questions. If you have any technical issues regarding the presentation or the webinar, please inform us in the chat box. Do not unmute yourself mid presentation. Please pin the presentation to your screen if you haven't already, and all the questions and feedbacks will be addressed at the end of the workshop in a Q&A section. Also, a small disclaimer for everyone. Mindtribe has the intellectual property rights of this presentation, and this presentation is copyrighted by Mindtribe. So, video recording of this presentation is not permitted, and taking photos or screenshots is also not permitted. So, let us begin today's workshop. So, let us look at the agenda that we have today. First, we'll be introducing to you the concept of brain fog, what it is, help you understand what brain fog is in more detail, identify the different triggers and contributors leading to brain fog. I'll share some strategies to help you manage the brain fog. We'll do a small relaxation exercise, tell you about how to seek professional help and when to seek professional help if you are experiencing brain fog. Some action planning to help you create a strategy and a plan to manage your brain fog better, and a Q&A session at the end. So if you have a pen and paper handy, please make notes if you wish to, because you're not allowed to take any screenshots or photos of this. All right, so grab a pen and paper and make notes. I hope all of this is really helpful and insightful for all of you. So, before we begin, I'd just like to ask all of you a small question. What is the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear the word brain fog? You can unmute yourself or put it in the chat box. What is the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear the word brain fog? What does it mean to you? Right. Sakib says confusion, lack of clarity. Yes. Memory issues, anxiety, confusion, forgetting, unconsciousness. Right. Cluster of thoughts with undefined outcomes, confusion. Yes. Yes. All of these are correct. Yes. So these are some words or things associated with the word brain fog. All right. Great. So moving ahead, let us see what brain fog is. So, brain fog is a term used to define a state of mental cloudiness or a cognitive dysfunction that is characterized by difficulties with concentration, memory, decision making, and overall cognitive fatigue. So, it's a very common experience that people have wherein they have difficulty focusing, making decisions, they have forgetfulness, their mental processing speed is slower, they have mental fatigue, they cannot multitask, and they have a lot of stress. And brain fog can be caused by a different range of factors like sleep deprivation, stress, anxiety, nutritional deficiencies, and medical conditions. We will discuss this later in more detail. And although this is a common experience for everyone, it can have a significant impact on our daily lives, personal and professional. All right. So moving ahead, have you experienced brain fog before? What is your experience like of living, of having brain fog? You can unmute yourself or put it in the chat box. Right, you're currently experiencing. Anshuman says currently experiencing brain fog. Yes, yes. Umesa, Sakir, Preeti, yes. A lot of you have experienced brain fog, forgetfulness, and confusion since 2 months. Somebody says regularly. Right, so it sounds like a lot of you have been experiencing brain fog lately, and it's been it's making you feel difficult to concentrate, confu- confusion. All right, so sometimes in difficult situations, right? So a lot of you have experienced brain fog. Zoning out could be. We'll discuss the symptoms further in the session, so let us look at the symptoms now. So, the first symptom of brain fog is forgetfulness. So, forgetfulness could include like forgetting appointments, important meetings, and important events. Forgetfulness could include struggling to recall any recent conversations or events, difficulty remembering phone numbers, passwords, and other important information, and just a general feeling of like you're constantly forgetting things. Then the second symptom is difficulty focusing. Here you could have trouble concentrating on a single task for an extended period of time. You could be easily distracted by, very minor stimuli in your surroundings. You could have difficulty staying on track or following complex instructions and struggling to prioritize the tasks that you have or struggling to make decisions. Then the next symptom of brain fog is confusion. Confusion often includes feeling disoriented or feeling, unsure of what's happening around you, having a difficulty to understand, written or spoken information, trouble following conversations or keeping up with these discussions, and just a general feeling like you're in a fog or a haze, right? And the next one is mental fatigue. Mental fatigue could include feelings of exhaustion even after getting enough rest, difficulty, mustering up the energy to complete any tasks or activities, feeling spaced out or zoned out or disconnected from the world, and struggling to focus due to a lack of mental clarity. Then there's also memory problems. So, forgetting where you placed your things like keys, wallet, phone, etc., difficulty recalling recent events, trouble remembering names of people, places, struggling to learn new information or recall previously learned information. There are some additional symptoms of brain fog, like difficulty with language processing, solving complex problems, feeling overwhelmed by sensory stimuli like light, sounds, smells, and having an increased feeling of irritability, anxiety, and mood swings. Right. So, Shantika, yes, please go ahead. Somebody raise their hand.
Hello,
Hello.
am I audible now?
Yes, yes, you're audible. Please go ahead.
Now, I'm just want to ask you that if sometime I forgot thing in a way,
Mm-hmm.
and I just trying to recall it again and again, and
Mm-hmm.
it make me so nervous, like I'm not able to do anything
Mm-hmm.
right yet,
Mm-hmm.
and I always questioning myself, ki, what I'm doing right here, like
Right,
it gives
right.
me so much of anxiety and
Yes, yes, I can understand that must be difficult for you. Like, it's one of the symptoms if you're experiencing brain fog, that could be a symptom of that. Thank you for sharing that. All right, great. So, moving ahead, I want to ask you guys, how does brain fog typically show up for you guys? Swati says, I was very confident while communicating, but just forgot over a period of time of how to communicate. Right, right. Um, Anybody would like to share their experiences? How does brain fog show up for you guys in your daily life? How does it? How? What is your experience? How does it show up for you? Any of these symptoms that we discussed right now? Anything? Irritability, anxiety, stress, zoning out, feeling numb. Right. Preeti says it happens in her exams. Diksha says in an aggressive form. Yes, Pritanshi, please go ahead.
Hello,
Hello.
am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Yeah, so I actually experienced it first time in my class 11th or
Mm-hmm.
maybe class 12th exams.
Mm-hmm.
For that time I did not had proper sleep and I felt a bit heaviness between my eyebrows, like
Right.
at that particular point, what you call the third eye.
Mm-hmm.
I felt there's some heaviness or some sort of heaviness and fuzziness there. But when I was writing my paper, I was a good student back then. I
Right.
felt really weird with the sort of preparation I had. I come and told my mother that though I got very good in my paper, but writing paper was very difficult for me because
Mm-hmm.
I felt that even for understanding English, since I was in a habit of speaking English, I felt that I had to read each line, then translate it into Hindi to make my own self understand that what I was doing. In
Right.
general practice, this
Mm-hmm.
was not the case with me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized, no, mama, I told my mother, I felt something weird. It was like everything in my brain is being fuzzy and everything is, I'm looking it through a translucent glass. Things were
Right.
not clear and I
Mm-hmm.
had to focus a lot. So it was
Right.
most probably the first time. After that, since few years, almost 2 3 years now, I experienced this a lot of times. Like when
Right.
I start planning to study or something like that, I
Mm-hmm.
start feeling heaviness. So later on, when
Right.
I actually searched for the term, I got to know on YouTube that there is something like brain fog also.
Hmm. It's great that you came across this term and you were able to, put words to what you were feeling. So we'll discuss the reasons for experiencing brain fog in more detail. Right. A lot of people saying hard to concentrate, cannot remember events, drop in intellectual level. Right, Vineet, please go ahead. You want to share something, Vineet? You raised your hand. Okay. All right. Right. Feeling all emotions, but suddenly feeling the world is lifeless. Yes, Vinny, please go ahead. Would you like to say something? Yes, Tulasi says want to stay active but feeling lazy all the time. Yes, it could be a reason. All right. Okay, then. Thank you so much for sharing all of your experiences with brain fog. We'll discuss this in more detail now. Right. So, let us look at the impact that brain fog can have on our lives. So the first one is reduce productivity. So brain fog can impact your productivity levels. Like the difficulty in concentration and staying focused can help make you spend more time on your tasks. Then it could lead to a decreased quality of your work or your performance. You could miss deadlines and miss opportunities. You could be feeling overwhelmed and stressed because of it. It can impact your daily routine, like difficulty completing your chores, feeling like you're not able to get everything done, and you are increasingly reliant on other people for the help. Then the next is strained relationships. Brain fog can lead to strained relationships because there could be a difficulty communicating effectively with others. So you could feel like you're not able to articulate your thoughts correctly. You could be feeling misunderstood or you are miscommunicating with people. And the strained relationships with your family, friends, colleagues, etc., can be due to increased irritability and mood swings, difficulty meeting commitments or following through on promises, and just feeling like a burden to other people. Then it can also lead to low self esteem. Experiencing brain fog can make you have a negative self talk and self doubt about your own abilities, making you feel like I'm not good enough, I'm not capable of doing this, I'm a failure, etc. And then it could lead to a decreased confidence and decrease in self worth. You could start avoiding social situations and activities because of your fear of failure or fear of embarrassment, or you could be struggling to make decisions or take risks because of it. Then it could also lead to a general feeling of emotional distress, wherein you are just feeling frustrated and irritable because of the lack of mental clarity, you're feeling anxious about not being able to complete your tasks or meet your expectations, you're feeling sad and demotivated because you're feeling like you're not living up to your potential, and you're just generally overwhelmed and feeling hopeless about your own future. So, have you experienced any of these effects of brain fog in your life? How has brain fog impacted you guys? Somebody's asked, would the session recording be shared? Yes. It is like knowing you are good and bright, but still some part of you forces you to believe that you are the opposite. Right, right. Almost all of them, right. So it sounds like the brain fog has impacted a lot of you guys in the ways of emotional distress, strained relationships. Anybody would like to unmute themselves and share their experience? Prapti, what would you like to? Okay, just give me a second. Right, right. So, have any of you guys experienced this impact of brain fog? Would you like to share your experience with me? Um, Rajita says always in confusion, indulging in random thoughts. Sabha says low self-esteem. Right. Okay. All right. Great. Thank you so much for sharing your experiences and how brain fog affects you guys. Right. Low self-esteem. A lot of you saying low self-esteem, not doing anything and always feeling sleepy. Sometimes break your connection with close friends. Right. Right. It could be it. Yes, Neha. Please go ahead.
Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, Neha. You're audible. Please go ahead.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Ma'am, I want to share my experience.
Please go ahead.
It happened with me about 2 months ago. I experienced
Mm-hmm.
brain fog, and it was really a terrible experience.
Mm-hmm.
Still, sometimes I feel like I'm suffering from this.
Okay.
I cried for the entire 2 months.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
was confused at what happened to me.
Hmm.
Even during that time I had my exams, and
Hmm.
I could not concentrate on my exams. I
Right.
thought I'm gonna mad. Even I consulted with a neurologist, but she
Okay.
prescribed me a lot of medicines.
Hmm. Right.
Um, but but the problem was, when sometimes I did not take those medicine, it
Hmm.
would turn more worse.
Right. Right. Okay.
And I'm still scared that it might come back. So could you please tell us how can I overcome this?
Right. We'll discuss the strategies to overcome brain fog in a short while. We'll discuss it in detail and give you strategies to help you understand it better. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing. Right. Somebody is asking, is brain fog a cause of feeling for this, or is the brain fog a result of something else? Right. So I'll discuss the factors that cause brain fog in detail in the next slide. So we can just look at that right now. Right. So, talking about the causal factors of brain fog. So, the first one is psychological factors. A lot of mental stress, anxiety, etc., psychological disorders can be a cause of brain fog. Then there are physiological factors like, different medical conditions, problems with your vitamins, etc. Vitamin deficiencies are the medical conditions that could affect you physiologically. Then there's environmental factors like, exposure to toxins, um, allergies, etc. And then there's lifestyle factors wherein the way you're living your day-to-day life could have an effect on your experience of brain fog. So let us look at the first one, that is the psychological factors. So, the first psychological factor that could affect your brain fog is stress. So, stress can lead to a state of hyperarousal wherein your body is constantly on a high alert and it's always anxious, making it difficult for you to focus and think clearly. Stress can also disrupt the body's natural cortisol levels, that is the stress hormone, leading to changes in our brain chemistry and brain function. And these high levels of cortisol can impair our memory, attention, and our cognitive processing speed. The chronic stress can also lead to a decrease in motivation, lead to fatigue, and a sense of overwhelm. Right? Then the next one is sleep disorders. So sleep disorders like insomnia, wherein you are having difficulty falling asleep, or sleep apnea, wherein you have breathing restrictions because of that, it can disrupt your normal sleep pattern and reduce your quality of sleep. And sleep deprivation has been shown to leading to fatigue, irritability, difficulty in concentration. These chronic sleep disorders can also increase your risk of developing other mental health disorders like depression and anxiety. Right? Then there's ADHD, right? So attention deficit hyperactivity disorder is also one of the factors that could affect your brain fog. ADHD can cause difficulty in sustaining attention, following instructions, and completing your tasks. The impulsivity and distractibility in ADHD can lead to a mental fogginess and difficulty concentrating. It can affect your working memory, making it hard for you to retain information and follow complex instructions. Then there's anxiety disorders. Anxiety disorders can also be a factor leading to brain fog, wherein disorders like generalized anxiety disorder, social anxiety disorder, panic disorder, all of these are anxiety disorders wherein you feel excessive amounts of anxiety with physical symptoms like rapid heartbeat, sweating, trembling, etc., which could make it difficult for you to focus and think clearly. And anxiety can also disrupt your sleep patterns, which can further exacerbate your brain fog symptoms. And lastly, there's depression, wherein depression can cause feelings of hopelessness, helplessness, and a general lack of motivation, which could lead to brain fog. And depression also affects your sleep quality, your appetite, your general energy levels, further increasing your brain fog symptoms. Depression can also disrupt your neurotransmitter balance, that is serotonin and dopamine, which are important in mood regulation and cognitive function. So if you have depression and serotonin level and dopamine levels are affected, it could affect your cognitive functioning as well. Right? So now let us look at physiological factors in detail. So the first one is anemia. Right? Anemia is wherein you have low levels of healthy red blood cells in your body to carry oxygen throughout it. So iron deficiency anemia in particular can lead to fatigue, weakness, and decreased cognitive function. Iron plays a very important role in the production of neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin, like I mentioned, which regulate your mood and cognitive function. And it affects your brain's oxygen supply because of the low red blood cells, which can lead to impaired cognitive function and difficulty in concentration. Then another physiological factor that could affect your brain fog is B12. So vitamin B12 deficiency has been shown to cause fatigue, weakness, and a decrease in your cognitive function because of its role in the maintenance of your myelin sheath, that is protecting your nerves in your brain and the processing of neurotransmitters. So vitamin B12 deficiency can lead to problems of your nerve fibers being degenerating, which can cause numbness, tingling, weakness in your hands and feet. This general prolonged B12 deficiency can also increase the risk of neurological damage and cognitive decline. Then there's vitamin D3 deficiency. Vitamin D3 deficiency has also been linked to various cognitive impairments like decreased attention span, memory lapses, and a reduced attention span. Reduce reaction time. So vitamin D receptors are present throughout your brain, and vitamin D plays a role in modulating the neurotransmitter activity in your brain. And if vitamin D deficiency, it's also linked to an increased risk of the depression and anxiety disorders that we discussed. So all in all, it could come together to exacerbate your symptoms of brain fog and maybe cause it as well. It is shown that a lot of people who are vegetarians may not be able to, include a lot of B12 and D3 in their daily diet. So it could be a reason that they are experiencing symptoms of brain fog. Then there's autoimmune diseases. If you have an autoimmune disease like lupus, multiple sclerosis, it can cause chronic inflammation in the brain. Inflammation meaning that your immune system is reacting to pathogens that is outside your body and trying to eliminate them. This inflammation can lead to stress in your body, and this can disrupt your normal neurotransmitter balances, affecting the the brain, and leading to inflammation, chronic inflammation, which can affect your brain, leading to brain fog. Then another thing that could affect your brain fog that is medical in nature is hypothyroidism. So if you have hypothyroidism, wherein you have an underactive thyroid gland, it can cause you fatigue, symptoms of brain fog because of the disruption of the hormone of thyroid, and it can reduce your metabolism. So thyroid hormones plays a role in regulating this metabolism, and it can also increase the risk of experiencing depression and anxiety disorders. Then there's viral infections. So a lot of people experienced, the coronavirus, and you also experience a common cold and other viral pathogens in your daily life. So these, when you have viral infection, you often notice that you are experiencing inflammation, wherein your body is heating up, you're feeling pain, stressed, etc. So your immune system is active, which can lead to feelings of, heaviness, fogginess in your brain. It can also disrupt the neurotransmitter balance, like we discussed, leading to mood changes, which could cause irritability, fatigue, etc. And chronic or recurring viral infection can lead to the persistent fatigue, brain fog, and decreased cognitive functions. And then there's hormonal changes. So, particularly in women during menopause or pregnancy, these hormonal fluctuations can cause mood swings, anxiety, and brain fog due to the changes in the brain chemistry because of these hormones. And these hormones disruption and hormone imbalance can lead to brain fog symptoms in these women. Right. So these are the physiological factors or the medical conditions that could possibly be a cause of your brain fog. Next is environmental factors. So things in your environment that could be causing brain fog, right? So the first one is allergies. If you have any allergies to things like dust, mold, etc., it can cause the inflammation that I talked about, and because of that, it could cause brain fog symptoms. These allergic reactions can also release histamine, which is a neurotransmitter too, that is causing the reactions of the allergy. It can disrupt your cognitive function, etc., and decrease the cognitive processing speed. Then there's unmanaged allergies, which can lead to chronic fatigue, anxiety, depression, and all of this further exacerbates the brain fog. Then there's medications. So if you're consuming certain medications like antihistamines, which are anti-allergy medications, it can cause you feelings of dizziness, difficulty in concentration. If you're taking anxiety medications, that can also cause, feelings of decreased alertness and feeling foggy in your brain. If you're taking sleeping pills, those can also disrupt your sleep patterns, leading to brain fog and decongestants. When you consume, cold and cough medications, that can cause, feelings of jitteriness and difficulty in concentration. Then there's dehydration. So dehydration can cause fatigue, headaches, difficulty concentration because of the reduced flow of blood because you're not consuming enough water. And chronic dehydration of long term can lead to impaired energy metabolism in the brain and disrupt your electrolyte balance, leading to weakness and brain fog fatigue. So it is really important to drink enough water, because often it is said that because of dehydration you can experience the feelings of fogginess in your brain. And then finally there's exposure to toxins. So a lot of toxins in our environment like lead, metal, etc., can disrupt your normal cognitive processing and disrupt your neurotransmitters. And there are things like pesticides and in your food that could be leading to cognitive impairment, which could cause neurotoxicity and difficulties with concentration, decreased reaction time. Then there's air pollution, the particulate matter, the dust, etc., that is in your environment can enter your lungs and bloodstream, leading to inflammation in there and leading to a lot of stress in your body, which could be making you feel foggy. And finally, there's lifestyle factors. So, first one is a sedentary lifestyle. So, a sedentary lifestyle is characterized by a lack of physical activity, which can, lead to a reduced flow of blood in the brain because you have not moved in a while, causing low oxygenation and glucose reaching your brain. Then there's decreased production of different neurotransmitters which support your neural health. Then, because of the lack of physical movements, there's more inflammation and stress in your body, leading to impairment in functionings of your brain. Then there's the sedentary behavior is also, research has found that it is increasing your risk of cognitive decline in the future and increasing your risk of developing anxiety disorders and depression. Then there's unhealthy diet. So if you're consuming a lot of processed foods, refined carbohydrates, saturated fats, a lot of sugar, artificial sweeteners, etc. All of this could be a factor causing brain fog in your life. Then there's excessive screen time. A lot of people have, started using their phones a lot, and the blue light exposure could disrupt their body's natural sleep cycle. If you're sitting on your phone all day, the prolonged sitting can cause, a reduced blood flow to your brain. Then, because of the excessive screen time, you're always on your phone. There's also a lot of social isolation. The social isolation can lead to a lot of stress, and that stress in turn could make you feel anxiety, depression, etc. And excessive screen time has also been linked to a higher risk of depression, anxiety disorders, and also ADHD. Then there's consumption of excessive caffeine. If you are a coffee lover and you consume a lot of coffee, it could lead to feelings of jitter and anxiety, insomnia, disrupted sleep pattern, a decreased appetite, increased your heart rate, and excessive caffeine consumption disrupts the natural stress hormones in your body, increasing to the stress levels in your body. And then there's substance use. So if you're consuming alcohol or tobacco, this can lead to chronic inflammation in your body and impair the functioning of your cognition, because you must know that consuming alcohol or tobacco affects your cognition and it slows down your body's processing speed. So it is also can exacerbate the way you are experiencing your brain fog, and it can also increase your risk of other underlying mental health conditions like anxiety and depression. So, now that I've discussed all of these different factors with you guys, if you could just tell me which factor do you think contributes to your brain fog, and if you have any questions about any of those factors, you can feel free to unmute yourself and ask questions. Right. Um, do you guys have any questions? Yes, Swati, please go ahead.
Ma'am, can you explain how anemia impacts brain fog? Sorry, I could not
Yes.
understand.
Right. So anemia causes a lack of blood flow in your body, right? And that is your blood carries oxygen to various parts of your body. So a lack of oxygen in the brain, because your blood is not reaching the brain, and your body does not have enough iron, and there is a deficiency because of that. Your blood is not able to carry enough oxygen through your body, and if your brain is not getting enough oxygen, your brain requires oxygen to process a lot of different functioning, and it's really important. So if the brain does not get enough oxygen, it leads to symptoms of brain fog wherein you're not able to concentrate, you're forgetting things. So that could be a cause of brain fog. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Thank you.
great. Anybody else would like to share what do they think could be a yeah? Uh, Kamla Vini says dehydration is physiological. How come it can't done under environmental? Right. So environmental, it could be that if you're out and about and not drinking enough water, or you are in the sun out a lot, and because of heat stroke or something, it's just your body is dehydrated a lot. It could be an environmental factor. So it's not a long-term thing of brain fog, but if somebody is experiencing it temporarily, it does come under an environmental factor wherein you are feeling dehydrated, and because of the dehydration, you are feeling symptoms of brain fog. It's not something that is chronic in nature, it's more acute. Right. Sakib asks, addiction can cause brain fog. Addiction can cause symptoms of brain fog, like if you're consuming a lot of alcohol and tobacco for a long period of time, it negatively affects your brain in that it declines the way it processes things and reduces processing stuff. Yeah. Darshani says sedentary lifestyle, stress, etc. Yes, Neha, please go ahead. You wanted to share something?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, can excessive sleep leads to brain fog?
Could you repeat? I couldn't hear you.
Yes, ma'am. Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, yes, you're audible now.
Ma'am, excessive sleep leads to brain fog?
Lack of sleep.
Excessive sleep.
Excessive sleep. Right. Excessive sleeping could be a cause of brain fog, but excessive sleeping might be a symptom of another, mental health concern that you might be facing, because of which your body needs that, excessive amount of rest, and you're sleeping a lot. So there could be an underlying mental health reason that could be affecting you and making you sleep a lot. But on its own, if it's a chronic thing that you're experiencing, it could be, a symptom of a sleep disorder. If it's been going on for a couple of months and it has not been, reduced even after any intervention by you, so it could be a mental health reason. Right. Somebody's asking how ADHD affects brain fog. ADHD can, mimic symptoms of brain fog, and people with ADHD can have, symptoms of brain fog, like, confusion, forgetfulness, not being able to recall stuff, having difficulty concentrating on certain things, completing tasks on time. All of that can be a symptom of brain fog, and ADHD people also can experience this. Right. Amrita says, staying with a narcissistic personality disorder parents has affected my stress levels. I have been diagnosed with depression. And I'm sorry to hear that. Yes, so that could be a reason that you are experiencing brain fog because of a lot of stress, and you are experiencing depression as well. Yes, Umesa, please go ahead. Uh, yeah, please go ahead. Who? Yeah.
Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Ma'am, I have a question.
Yes.
How flavor enhancer can impact our brain, especially for those who are suffering from chronic stress or depression?
Right. So if you're experiencing chronic stress and depression, it would be advisable for you to, get in touch with a counselor or a therapist to, discuss your concerns in more detail, and to see the reasons why you're experiencing this stress, and help you mitigate the stress effectively, so that your symptoms of brain fog are reduced, and you're able to manage your day-to-day life a lot better.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing that.
Welcome.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, please go ahead.
Ma'am, I have some gut health issues.
Mm-hmm.
So, is there brain fog caused by the gut health issues?
Yes, so research has shown that there is a connection between your gut and your brain, and disruptions in your gut can often lead to changes in your brain chemistry and neurotransmitters, which could affect your brain fog.
Okay.
Gut health issues are also, reasons for a lot of anxiety issues, etc. So it could be a possibility that that is causing you problems.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much for sharing. All right, great. So, moving ahead, let us now discuss some coping strategies that you guys can incorporate in your day-to-day life to help mitigate the symptoms of brain fog. So, the first, the strategies that we'll be discussing in detail is stress management techniques, proper sleep hygiene, making any dietary changes required, increasing physical activity, training your brain with exercises, and a time management strategy. So, the first one is the stress management. So, it is really important to manage your stress if you want to control your symptoms of brain fog. So, practicing deep breathing exercises is a really powerful tool to reduce your stress and anxiety that contributes to the brain fog. So, by focusing on slow, deliberate breaths, you can, slow down your heart rate, and reduce the stress hormone levels in your body, increase the oxygenation of the brain, like I discussed, and promote feelings of relaxation, and reduce the feelings of anxiety. So deep breathing exercise, just like taking few deep breaths, that can help you reduce your stress. We will discuss this deep breathing exercise, and we'll do it together. The next is engaging in hobbies and activities that bring you joy and relaxation. So, because of a lot of stress, we often forget to, indulge in our own favorite hobbies and things that bring us joy. So, doing activities that you enjoy doing can help you distract from the stress that you're experiencing and increase calmness. So, try to schedule, a time each day or weeks to do activities like reading your favorite book, listening to your favorite music, cooking, baking, etc., and just making time for activities that make you relaxed and help you unwind. Then you can also talk to a friend or a loved one, Often because of brain fog, we socially isolate ourselves because of the low self-esteem and fear of judgment or embarrassment. And social support is a very important factor to help you reduce the stress that you're experiencing. And talking to a trusted friend or a loved one can, provide you emotional support and validation of your feelings of the stress and feelings of brain fog. It can help you feel heard and understood, and maybe give you a different perspective on your challenges. So making an effort to stay in touch with friends and family can be, really helpful. And don't be afraid to reach out to anybody if you want to talk to someone. Practicing mindfulness throughout the day. So, mindfulness is the practice of being present in the moment without any judgment or distractions in your environment. So, you can practice mindfulness in different ways, like paying attention to the breath that you're uh, breathing and any physical sensations in your body, just noticing it gently and engaging in mindful movements like maybe yoga or any gentle exercises, taking breaks throughout the day to focus on your senses, like listening to the birds chirping or just basking in the sunlight. And practicing this mindfulness just a few minutes a day can help you reduce your stress levels. You can also indulge in aromatherapy. Certain scents have been shown to, positively impact your mood and your overall well-being. So, using essential oils or your favorite perfume and applying them to your skin and just inhaling them directly from the bottle, etc., can help you, reduce your stress levels. Like for example, lavender has been proven to be really calming and relaxing. So, just using your favorite perfumes or scents that really help you calm down and relax can be helpful to just manage your stress on a day-to-day level. Then the next thing is sleep hygiene. Sleep hygiene is really important. So establishing first a consistent sleep schedule is really important. Going to bed on time and waking up at the same time every single day helps you regulate the body's internal clock and help you improve the sleep quality if it is one of the reasons that is exacerbating your brain fog symptoms. So aiming for about 7 to 9 hours of sleep every night, and having a consistent wake up time helps regulate your body's circadian rhythm. Avoid oversleeping or sleeping in, as it can disrupt your body's natural rhythm and make it harder for you to fall asleep later at night. Then create a relaxing bedtime routine. Develop a relaxing pre-sleep routine that will signal your brain that it is time to wind down and prepare for sleep. You could have a relaxing bedtime routine which could include taking a warm bath, just doing gentle stretches or yoga, listening to calming music or sounds of the nature. So incorporating any of these in your bedtime routine can help you, you know, help your body to realize that okay, this is time to sleep and I have to wind down. So aiming for a consistent routine every day that you can follow every night easily can help you uh, better your sleep hygiene. Then the next thing is limiting screen time before bed. As I had discussed earlier, excessive screen time can affect your symptoms of brain fog. So the blue light emitted by your smartphones and computers can suppress the production of melatonin, that is the hormone that regulates our sleep. So try to avoid using screens for at least an hour before your sleep time and using blue light filtering glasses or apps that might filter the blue light. Then create a comfortable sleep environment. So make sure that your bedroom is dark, quiet, and at a comfortable temperature, which can help you fall asleep easily. And avoid stimulants like caffeine close to bedtime, because caffeine can interfere with your ability to fall asleep and reduce the quality of your sleep. So avoid consuming caffeine at least 4 to 6 hours before bedtime, and consider avoiding it altogether in the hours leading up to the bedtime. So these are some of the things you can use to improve your sleep hygiene and help you sleep a lot better. Then there are some dietary changes that you can make in your life. That is eating a balanced diet rich in fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and lean proteins. So the balanced diet will provide you the necessary nutrients, vitamins, and minerals that will support your overall brain function. And aiming for a variety of colors on your plate can help you get enough nutrients like different fruits, vegetables, whole grains, lean proteins. All of this can really help give you a balanced diet. Then limit your consumption of processed foods, sugars, and caffeine. So, processed food often contains a lot of sugar, artificial ingredients, and unhealthy fat that can negatively impact your brain and your brain function. So, avoid sugary drinks like, different sodas, soft drinks, etc. Avoid drinking a lot of coffee, processed snacks like chips, cookies. Be mindful of hidden sources of sugar and caffeine in foods like different sauces, baked goods, etc. And also stay hydrated. Dehydration, as already said, can impair the cognitive function. So at least drinking 8 to 10 glasses of water every day is really important. Make sure water is your primary beverage of choice instead of grabbing a sugary drink like a soda or a soft drink or any juice, because it contains a lot of sugar that can dehydrate your body. Then avoid skipping meals and eat regularly. And skipping meals leads to low blood sugar, which could affect cognitive functions and lead to feelings like you're experiencing brain fog. So eating regularly and at regular intervals will help stabilize your blood sugar levels. And choosing nutrient dense fruits, options like fruits, nuts, whole grains, etc., can really help you create a wholesome snack instead of grabbing a packet of chips or cookies, and aiming for three main meals a day, and one or two snacks in between those can really help you mitigate if you are experiencing brain fog because of any dietary reasons. Then there's physical activity. So if you are having a lot of sedentary lifestyle and you're not moving a lot, you don't have exercise in your routine, it is really important to have some form of exercise in your daily routine. So you can indulge in aerobic exercise, because aerobic exercises improve the blood flow to the brain, and it can increase the oxygenation and reduce your cognitive decline. So doing at least 30 minutes of aerobic exercises a few times a week can really help you. Doing things like brisk walking just for 30 minutes around, jogging, running, swimming, cycling, dancing, whatever you feel is really enjoyable for you and will bring you, make it make it feel like you are enjoying it, and making it consistent every day can help you mitigate the symptoms of brain fog. Making movement a priority throughout the day in small increments, like taking the stairs if instead of the lift, or just going for a short walk, maybe for a 5-minute walk in between your work or while you're doing something, can really help mitigate the symptom of brain fog and reduce brain fog symptoms if your brain fog symptoms are because of a sedentary lifestyle or because of not enough movement throughout your day. Then, brain training exercises. You can do puzzles, brain teasers like Sudoku, crossword puzzles, word searches, which will help engage your brain and help, make it feel like it's using the brain capacity, like critical thinking, problem solving, logical reasoning. Just doing Sudoku, crossword, etc., can just really, work your brain up and help you use your brain in a challenging way. Then learning a new skill or a hobby that challenges your brain can also help you to, challenge your brain and promote neuroplasticity, which can help change the brain chemistry and change the brain way of processing things. So maybe learning a new language, playing a new musical instrument like a piano or a guitar, painting, drawing, cooking, dancing, etc. Anything, a new skill or a hobby that you can, indulge in to help you work on your brain. Then you can also engage in memory exercises. So memory exercises could include, memorizing phone numbers, learning new vocabulary, and their definitions can really help, train your brain in a way that it starts using its different capacities to its fullest. Also, practicing mindfulness can improve your focus. So, if you're feeling like you're not able to focus on things a lot and your attention span is affected, practicing mindfulness in the day by just you doing a 5 to 10 minute short meditation and just focusing on your breath, etc., can help you, feel more focused and alert instead of just feeling a lot more, forgetful or confused or feeling like you're not able to concentrate. Remember to be patient with all of these things because it's important to make them enjoyable and engaging to help you keep motivated and challenged. Then if you're experiencing time management issues because of the brain fog and you're not able to manage your time effectively, it's really important if you could prioritize your tasks and break them down into more manageable steps, like breaking large tasks into smaller chunks, creating to-do lists with deadlines and specific tasks, prioritizing the goals on their basis of importance and urgency. And if you keep forgetting things and you feel like you're missing out on appointments and important meetings, you can use your digital calendars and planners and schedule everything so that you don't miss out on anything. Then setting realistic goals and deadlines. So based on your real life experiences and whatever you feel is reasonably challenging for you, only set goals according to that. If you reach or aim too high for something, it might make you feel unmotivated to do the task, and you might not end up doing it, and it might make you a loop of just not doing it and then feeling bad about it, and etc. So it's important to set realistic goals and deadlines for yourself. Like I said, breaking tasks into smaller, manageable chunks, and practicing self care and taking breaks to avoid burnout. So, it's important to schedule breaks for every 60 minutes, stretching a little, moving your body, setting boundaries with other people to protect your own time, and ensuring that you have time for self care is really important. And practice self compassion. Acknowledge that it is okay to take these breaks and experiencing what you're experiencing, because it takes a lot of time for you to incorporate all of these things, and it takes skill to make all of these things in practice. So, after discussing all of these different strategies, I know that was a lot. I would ask you guys, how do you manage your brain fog? Have you tried any of these strategies in your lives? What do you do to help you, deal with all of this? Yes, somebody's raised their hand. Umesa, would you like to share something? How do you manage your brain fog?
Hello,
Yes, Umesa.
am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
I do usually manage my brain fog with some. I usually prefer to writing or gardening or go for shopping.
Right, yeah. And that helps you with managing the brain fog.
Yeah, but when I was walking on the streets at that time, I just have a craving for some caffeine and pastry. After that, when
Mm-hmm.
I reach my home, I just feel like burnouts and
Mm-hmm.
palpitation. Then my mom
Mm-hmm.
slapped on my face. She told me, you are very bad, you are eating pastries and all that, that's why you had a GERD, gastric or oxophase reflection diseases, and I'm very confused how to tackle with this problem.
Right. So you're concerned with, telling your mother about this thing or tackling the brain fog. Umesa, what exactly would you like to handling the brain fog or managing, this with talking to your mother?
Hello,
Yes, Umesa.
you are not audible for me.
Am I audible now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was asking, what was your question? Handling the brain fog or talking to your mother about this?
Hello,
Yes.
hello,
Am I audible?
voice is not clear.
It's not
Harshita,
clear.
you are audible.
Okay, okay. So it must be a concern from Umesa's side. No problem. Swati, go ahead and ask your question.
Firstly, I was yeah. So firstly, I wanted to share what I do generally when I
Mm-hmm.
face brain fog. Generally, my mother recommended me to practice some deep breathing exercises, and honestly, it has helped me in uh, in a very good extent, because breathing not only helped me with just reducing my brain fog and concentration, but also it helped me reduce my anxiety. And as soon as I get anxious, my first step now, it has become like a what to say, just a mechanism. As
Yeah,
soon
a
as I get anxious,
reflex.
I start yeah, reflex, exactly. It's like a reflex. I
Mm-hmm.
start to start deep breathing and
Mm.
all these things. I've started to very recently I've started sleep hygiene also, where
Okay.
I practice some activities only at night right before my bedtime, so that
Mm-hmm.
my body gets used to my bedtime and I don't have to take time and maybe it takes half an hour or something to get back to
Mm-hmm.
sleep. I just try to manage my routine that way.
Right.
But I had one doubt.
Mm-hmm.
You had mentioned that in time management issues, you mentioned that using planners or digital calendars, we can
Mm-hmm.
use that to
Mm-hmm.
remember things. But isn't that the opposite of brain fog? Like our priority, our aim is to improve our memory and focus and
Right.
concentration and all those
Right.
things. If we start using those, we end up not using our brain for all those purposes, right?
Mm-hmm. Right. So if it's really severe and it's really difficult to manage for people to remember everything, it could be if people have ADHD or have difficulty managing all of those things, and if it's really severe, it can be helpful for them to for a short while before they're able to get a hang of everything, to use these tools and strategies to help mitigate it, because it might take them some time to get back on track and reduce their symptoms and be able to remember things correctly, because important meetings and appointments could be and missing those could be really harmful, and not harmful in the sense, but it could make create problems in their life if they miss something really important. So it would be useful for people like those to make reminders and set planners and digital calendars to help those.
Got it. Okay, thank
Right.
you.
Thank you so much for sharing. That was really insightful. I hope everybody else felt, got some insight because of that. Because practicing sleep hygiene and deep breathing and making it a reflex activity, wherein you're just immediately reaching out for these strategies to manage your anxiety and stress, could be really helpful.
I almost do all of these activities that you've mentioned on and off
Right.
basis. Not every day, obviously, like brain training and
Mm-hmm.
all. Not
Mm-hmm.
every day, but I do have puzzles and riddle books or maybe
Right.
Sudoku and all
Right.
those things. So I try to manage sometime once in a while. If we do, I think it would be a healthy exercise for everyone.
Right. Great. Thank you so much for sharing this. Preeti, yes, please go ahead.
I would like to share my experience with brain fog and how I manage it.
Mm-hmm.
I write down everything,
Hmm.
what I experienced throughout the day, or what I read in a book, or what I observed in the nature.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm able to retain everything usually. But during my exams,
Hmm.
there certainly I face this memory retention problem due to brain fog. So how can I help with that?
Right, during examination?
Yes, ma'am.
Right.
Majorly during that.
Right. So it could be that during examination you are really stressed out because of that, and the stress could be increasing your feelings of confusion, forgetfulness, etc. All the different symptoms of brain fog. So, like I mentioned in the stress management strategies, you could try deep breathing exercises, like Swati mentioned. To mitigate your anxiety and help you reduce the stress and anxiety for you to better be able to focus on the study material that you're using.
Thank you, ma'am.
Right. Thank you for sharing. All right, great. So now we'll do the deep breathing exercises like everybody is talking about. So right now, I would like all of you to share in the chat box on a scale of 0 to 10 to rate your current mental clarity and focus levels, wherein 0 meaning completely clear and alert, and 10 is completely foggy and unfocused. So just type it in the chat box on a scale of 0 to 10 where you guys are at in your levels of brain fog and brain clarity. Right. Somebody says 4, 3, 1. Right. So it's average. A lot of people in the middle of the scale. Some people are feeling really, foggy and unfocused. Right. Okay, so we'll do the deep breathing exercise like everybody was talking about, and see if you can feel the changes yourself. So, this is called a box breathing exercise wherein you have to follow along the box. So, from left to right, you have to breathe in for 4 counts, that is 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold the breath for 4 seconds, then breathe out through your mouth for 4 seconds and hold the breath for 4 seconds. So, in this loop of 4, 4, 4, you have to do this 4 times. All right, so I'll just ask you guys to make yourselves comfortable wherever you're sitting. Sit upright and make yourself comfortable. Once you guys are ready, we'll start with the breathing exercise. So just I hope everybody is sitting comfortably and relaxed. Drop down your shoulders, relax your muscles, relax your body, and we'll start the breathing exercise. So take a deep breath in through your nose, counting to 4 in your mind. So let's go ahead. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold this breath for 4 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now breathe out through your mouth. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out through your mouth. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Great. So just notice the sensations in your body, how you're feeling, how your body is feeling, how your mind is feeling. If you're feeling differently, um, now let us go ahead. So now after doing this exercise, if you could, rate your mental clarity and focus on the same scale that we discussed earlier. Has there been any change in your rating? Right. Um, if you guys did the breathing exercise, right, Omesa says, great experience. I'm glad that this helped you out. So this is the deep breathing exercise. You could, try it out whenever you're feeling stressed out and you wish to, calm yourself down and focus on something better. Sathika says, why did I feel like a headache while inhaling and exhaling? Right. So sometimes we are often, when we are all stressed out, our breathing is very shallow. So you're breathing just in your chest. Usually we're supposed to fill your stomach and you should see your stomach expanding instead of your chest expanding more. So if you're breathing really shallow, it could be a reason why you're feeling headache because you're not breathing in deeply. Or it could be that you're so stressed that your body is not allowing you to relax and calm down. So it could be one of those reasons. Somebody says they're feeling calm. Sushantika says they're feeling calm. Tulsi says it felt good. Thank you so much. Yeah, so it could be a reason where your body is not completely relaxed. It was a really short, activity right now. So you could do this wherein you're sitting comfortably in your room and you're just free from distractions because this is a workshop right now and it could be a reason that you're not really relaxed. So if you could try out this box breathing exercise when you're really comfortable and relaxed, it could help you out and reduce your heartbeat and not make it beat so rapidly. Omesa, if you could, yes. Shivangi, could you please answer her question? I'm not able to find it.
Right, I was typing in the chat box. Will that be okay, or should I read it out for you?
Um, yeah, could you just type it out because I have a few slides to go ahead. So,
On it.
yeah. Okay, so now that we discussed all of this, It is important to recognize when to seek help for your brain fog symptoms. If you have been having really persistent symptoms for a really long time, like for weeks and months, and it's not going away by anything that you're doing and not even being mitigated because of any strategies that you're using, it could be a sign that you need to seek help. If it is really severe, if the impact that you're having on your daily life because of the brain fog is really severe and it's affecting your work, your personal life, it could be a time to seek help. If you have underlying medical conditions, it is really important for you to seek out help from your medical professional or general physician, family doctor, etc., to seek out the underlying conditions that is causing the brain fog. If it is causing you a lot of emotional distress, it is important to reach out to a counselor or a therapist to help you deal with the stress. And if it is impairing your relationships and causing miscommunication and arguments, etc., it is really important to seek help. Right. So, action planning, what to do. So, because we discuss all these strategies, you can set specific goals to manage your brain fog. For example, if you want to say, I want to improve my concentration, you can set a goal wherein you say, I will focus on a particular task for 30 minutes without any distractions thrice a day for the next 2 weeks. So, a specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. That is a SMART goal, wherein S stands for specific, M for measurable, A for achievable, R for relevant, and T for time bound, wherein you can set SMART goals to, manage your brain fog. You can integrate these strategies into your daily routine. Just find a time in your daily life wherein you can incorporate these things. Begin small with small manageable changes and gradually increase the duration and intensity as you become more comfortable doing these things, like the meditation and deep breathing. Start small by just 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and then increase the time as you get more comfortable. Then track your progress. It's really important to track your progress, maybe in a journal, so that you can record your daily activities and write down the strategies that you use and see how they affected your brain fog symptoms. So monitoring your progress is important, and making adjustments as needed is really good. And celebrating your wins. So acknowledge if you are able to even improve your symptoms in a small way. Celebrate that. It will help you keep motivated and adjust your plan. So if you're not seeing any progress and if you feel like your symptoms are worsening because of this, adjust your plan or seek professional help. Seeking professional help. So if you're struggling to manage the brain fog on your own, and if your symptoms are worsening and don't improve with these strategies, and if you're experiencing mental health conditions like depression and anxiety, it is important to not rely on your own strategies. Seek out help. It is really important. Remember that managing this is a process that takes a lot of time, patience, and effort. So just be kind to yourself, be compassionate, and don't pressure yourself to improve the brain fog symptoms immediately. And just be patient and put in all of these strategies to use, and hopefully you will see some improvement. If you guys are interested, you can always reach out to one of us at Mind Tribe. We offer counseling services at rate of 600 per 45-minute session. So you can always reach out to one of us, and if you have to discuss any problems that you're having with brain fog, reach out to us. And we also have a 12-week group program of group therapy sessions conducted once a week. We also have a library of self-help tutorials, the guided meditations. If you want to seek out meditations from our YouTube channel, that'd be really great. If you have any inquiries, you can reach out to us on this helpline, WhatsApp number, and this email ID. And yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for being so patient and listening to me attentively. Now we can take up any questions that you guys have, and yes, Saqib, please go ahead.
Hey, yeah, hello everyone.
Hello.
I'm audible. Yes,
Yes,
I
you are.
have actually I had developed brain fog in the year 2019. I was in my graduation, so it impacted my grades. But later, I was also in a rehab for 2 months during COVID. It didn't help me because I didn't have knowledge, proper knowledge, or not knowing the facts, what contributed it, what triggered it. So
Right.
if so what I want to I have one doubt that how to motivate you said that doing proper exercises like solving puzzles and all, but initially we will face difficulties like I'm not able to solve, I'm not able, how to push yourself that
Right.
how to motivate yourself. And another meditation technique is that Tratak and Chakra meditation.
Mm-hmm.
And how does Tratak help in focusing? Because I have listened many people saying that Tratak helps in focusing.
Right. So that meditation, I believe, involves you, placing a candle in front of you, lighting
Yeah,
it up,
yeah,
and focusing
focusing.
on the flame. Right. So it improves concentration in the way that you are able to cut out distractions outside. You are
Yeah,
able to, be present in the moment, be
yeah.
mindful, and just look at the flame and not, divert your attention anywhere. So if you focus on a single point, it can help improve your focus and attention, because maybe usually you are, constantly distracted by external stimuli. So if you increase the amount of time that you're able to focus on something, you can maybe, translate that into other activities in your daily life. So that could be a way for you to, incorporate that in your routine. And
Okay, or
the other question about the motivation thing. So first
yeah.
of all, being kind to yourself, not talking negatively about yourself, because you're already maybe experiencing low self-esteem because of, all the experiences that you're having, because of, these all of these symptoms of confusion, forgetting things, memory problems, all of this. So if it is important to be compassionate, not talk negatively, be
Mhm.
kind. Like, okay, even if I'm not able to do it, I'll try it again. I will, I want
Yeah.
to get better. I will try my best.
Mhm.
And even if I'm not
Yes.
able to do it, I won't, say bad things about myself. Oh, I'm a failure. I'm not good enough.
Mhm.
No, just being kind. I will be able to do it. I have capabilities. I
Yeah.
have, you.
Positive self-talk.
Yes, positive self-talk. Yes.
And again, one more thing, that how to develop that alertness, because alertness is contributing factor in remembering things.
Mm-hmm.
How to develop that alertness and patience and setting realistic goals, being practical. Because as I
Right.
said, many people here may be having some psychological disorders,
Mm-hmm.
so they may be impractical. So how to be practical, the proper balance between reality and that fictional things, how to.
Right. So it could be a thought pattern that you have usually,
Hmm.
and something that cannot be changed. I cannot talk about what you're particularly thinking about and how to change that in this short session, because I think we're over time. If you
Mhm.
wish to, get more details about it and, get to know yourself better and understand where this
Hmm.
is coming from, you can always reach out to one of us
Yeah, yeah.
here, and you can get your free first counseling session and move ahead with that.
All right, thank you.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing. Yes, Amrita, please go ahead.
Yeah, could you just share the previous slide, the action plan?
Yes,
I
sure.
was not able to get
Yes,
it.
yes. Yeah, here. Right. Satika says she used to journal initially, but when emotions came out on paper, but now you cannot get emotions expressed. Right. So if you're facing emotional issues, emotional distress because of anything, feel free to reach out to us and, get counseling and help, manage your emotions better, regulate them better. Yes, somebody is asking, how do you express and release suppressed emotions apart from sharing from a therapist? Right, I think these are the probably the best ways to express your suppressed emotions, because it is always helpful to have another person in front of you to validate your emotions and make you feel understood. So sharing with a therapist or a friend is really important, and even journaling it out and just getting all of your thoughts and emotions out on a paper is really helpful. Anything physical, to physically express your emotions, it could be a physical activity, any exercises, any aerobic exercises. If you feel like you can dancing, dance movement therapy and dancing is a proven way for you to express your emotions and let go of any suppressed emotions. So dancing could be one of a physical thing that you can do to help release your suppressed emotions. Maybe listening to a music that is related to your emotions and dancing out on that could be ways. Right. So if anybody else has any questions, feel free to raise your hand. Okay, great. Does anybody else have any other questions? Anything that you'd like to share? Okay, okay, all right, great. So I believe there are no other questions. So thank you so much for listening patiently and uh, talking about all of this. Right, somebody's raised their hand. Okay. Sabha says I can't let go of one thought and it comes up again and again. Yeah. Sabha, any psychological or mental health related issues that you're experiencing could be, something that you can discuss with a counselor here. So feel free to reach out to us. We can share social anxiety. Yes. So dealing with social anxiety, you can talk to one of the counselors here and, help you. Somebody can help you out with that. Okay. All right. Great. So thank you so much, everyone, for listening patiently. I hope you guys made notes, and I hope all of this helped you out in a significant way. All right, then. If you guys don't have any other questions, feel free to drop off and have a lovely day ahead. Bye bye. Thank you, Anushka. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.